Good morning, everyone. How are you this morning? I hope everybody is having a beautiful day. I think we're having a heat wave over here where we're at. I believe we're gonna have a very good lesson today. So we'll start with the prayer and we'll go on. Dottie had wrote me and she's not gonna be able to make it this morning, but she's still watching on YouTube later when you upload it, Rodney. And, so we'll just get started. And good morning to everybody. Heavenly Father, thank you for this beautiful day today. We ask that we bring all of our hearts together and open all of our hearts to take what we need to out of these lessons that are coming today. Bless each and every one of us and our families and put lots of protection around us for all the new energies that are coming in and the energies that are being sent to keep us from walking in your pathway. We ask that you protect the ones that are in great suffering. Send the angels to intercede for them. We ask for rain to come to the places that need the rain the most, where the fires are, where the earth needs watering. Just ask today that each and every one that is filled with pain, that you comfort them and send them the comforting spirit of the Holy Spirit so that it can comfort them and get them through the phase of energy that they're going through. Thank you for this class and the people that want to attend it to learn more about themselves. I hope.
Play the song.
Yes. Good morning, Elizabeth and Pam and Shaw.
From our spirit we perceive we are one humanity, awakening sanctity, awareness and unity. We are here to dance and sing in our connection with everything, understanding who we are through the ways of the heart. Let's choose love, inner peace, living one in harmony with the knowledge. At our core, we are the ones we've been waiting for. We can do it with the truth, bring new light into all we do. We are love at our best in the we consciousness. As we grow consciously, we claim sovereignty for our life, land and sea, grounded in equality. Let's choose love, inner peace, living one in harmony with the knowledge. At our core, we are the ones we've been waiting for. We can do it with our truth, bring new light into all we do. We are love at our best in the we consciousness. There's a joy like no in us all we can discover, looking out for one another, heart to heart, sisters and brothers. Let's choose love, inner peace, living one in harmony with the knowledge at our core. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We can do it with our truth and bring new light into all we do. We are love at our best in the way consciousness. We love at our best in the way consciousness. Entering to the way consciousness.
We are all one. Whatever we do to ourselves or another affects the whole. May the divine within you guide you as to what steps to take to be of service to our beautiful planet. May peace prevail on earth.
Owen.
All right. Okay, so today, last week we talked about judgment, right? So did any of y'all just raise your hands, because when we get to the lessons, you know, where we can talk, we're going to talk some more about judgment. But did any of y'all experience any awareness on the judgments that you made all last week after the class? You did, Robbie, Elizabeth? Oh yes, I think we all did. But that's good, because see, and the more you can become aware of it, the more it will balance up so that you're not doing it. And it'll eventually, that judgment will turn into unconditional love, because you'll realize, why am I judging this? You know, it is what it is. I have no control over it. Unless it's coming from your own self, that's the only time you can control it. And Shaw, you made a good point too. I believe it was you. The way we perceive things, perception plays a big key in how we judge. So today we're going to talk about a little bit about deception and perception. So we're going to start off with perception and how we see everything, because everybody sees something different. There could be 3 to 4 people in a room, and one story or one thing can happen. And when you ask each one to tell you what happened, the story is going to be 3 to 4 different stories because of the way they perceived it. Have you ever wondered why that is? Because there really is a reason for that. Your perception comes with your senses. You know, we have 5 senses: hear, see, smell, touch. And I think I'm missing one. But if they're not, yes, hearing, correct, thank you. So if all of them are not imbalanced at the same time and connected in your mental self, then you're gonna have a perception that's only halfway of what's really truly going on. And remember, in the past classes that I was talking about, we're gonna learn how to see the whole picture, not just half of it. And so, one of the biggest things we're gonna talk about today is how to balance yourself properly. Because a lot of us, I know each and every single one of y'all know how to balance or have been shown how to balance yourself or ground yourself. Okay? But, and like I said, take what I say, which appeals to your inside you. Because each one of us carries our own truth. And so some of the stuff that I say you might not agree with, and that's okay. But the biggest thing about these classes that I'm having is so that when something does come together for you, you need to research it for yourself and find your answer. Because when you find your answer, it's going to put things together. Because like I've been telling everybody, from the very beginning, we are all connected in the circle and everything is connected to us. And I see my little friend behind you, Elizabeth. You tell her I love her very much. I love you. So we're going to learn how to connect all of this so that when you ground and you meditate and all of this is going to help you help all of us. I'm going to get out of that you. It will help all of us to balance and ground ourselves a lot better with this understanding. And it starts with the 5 senses. So I hope y'all brought y'all some papers so you could write down, or just remember to write down the 5 senses, which is taste, sight. If I go too fast, let me know. Hearing, smell, and touch. Did I get all 5 of them? Okay. We're gonna add 2 more to that. Okay, and I'm gonna show you how to connect it all together. The 6th one, remember when on the first show when I showed y'all, it was either the first or the second time that we had our lessons, I showed you how to center your third eye to your sacred spot in your heart. Now that's gonna be the 6th one once you put all the sight in here, and I'll show you how to do that today. But you're gonna bring all of that into your heart center. Then the 7th one is breathing the breath of life into you, which, you know, when you're meditating or balancing, there's a proper way to breathe. Okay, to get into that meditation state. And a lot of that meditation state, when they're trying to get you, is that sacred space that I'm showing you, that you can, when you run your hand down and you can feel it in your heart space, that's actually where you start learning to meditate, to ground yourself. And the longer that you can hold that space, the stronger your grounding is going to be for you, and the stronger that you will be able to meditate and be able to get a better, clearer vision for your own self through your spirit guides and through the ones that are helping you, you know, to walk your path. Now I'm going to share with you the way I was taught to ground. I was taught to go barefooted, to get out there and barefooted on the ground. You know, sit on the ground, touch the ground, sometimes use a drum. And just be very quiet and be around, you know, nature and listen to the birds and stuff. But also visualize, as I was touching the grounds, like roots were going down into Mother Earth. And the more you could ground yourself by seeing your roots, the stronger you would be grounded. Well, let me tell you, that didn't work for me. You know, I would do it, but I wouldn't stay grounded long. And I was like, what am I doing wrong? There's something I'm doing wrong. Well, I really wasn't doing anything wrong, because there's no right and wrong. We punish ourselves by saying that. That's a type of punishment. Like I said, we've been taught, you know, that you had to be a winner or a loser, you know, ever since we started school. So that there's no such thing as right and wrong. It's just doing it and understanding what you are doing and why you are doing it, you know, for yourself, not for anybody else. So when you start to ground, the very first thing you have to do is feel it. So that's why the natives go out and touch Mother Earth, so they can feel the ground, okay, which is touch. That's one of your senses. So the next thing you have to bring into your thing is what you're looking at, your sight. What I'm going to show you today is that when you're grounding, you are to bring each one of those senses into your third eye to ground and become totally grounded. And we're missing, or I have been missing, I don't know about y'all, a couple of steps, especially taste. I never thought about putting anything in my mouth to help bring that about so that I could connect properly. So what I started doing is I would find my favorite piece of candy, which I love cinnamon. So I go, when I'm doing this, I will take a cinnamon candy and put it in my mouth so that I will have that taste. But you have to connect your vision, your taste. I use some type of essential oil or some type of fragrance, you know, incense, sage, whatever you want to burn for the smell, because you want to connect that. And then either you can visualize something in your third eye, or you can get and hold on to something that has color. It could be a little toy that makes your heart feel good. To bring your vision in, to connect, but you have to connect to everything. And with the hearing is when you can do it with music or with the birds, but you have to bring that hearing and you have to connect it all in your third eye before you start your grounding. And then once you get it all connected, then you can ground. And you will see a big difference when you do that. When I started doing that, I felt more whole. Where, like I was telling you when we first started a few minutes ago, I only felt halfway, you know, and I could only stay grounded for a short period of time. But when you can put all your senses together, you'll learn that you can stay grounded for weeks to months on times the more you practice it, because it's putting all of that, connecting it all together. And so once you get your five senses together in your third eye, the next thing you want to do is you want to bring it down into your heart center, into that space that I was teaching you about at the first, and hold it in that space and push it out into unconditional. You know, it'll start expanding out with unconditional love. You'll feel it expanding out. And then that's when you bring your breath and you start focusing on your breath and how you're breathing. You can breathe fast, You can breathe in slow and let it out slow. It really depends on you. But when you start doing that, you will ground so strongly. And if you're trying to meditate, your meditations will change and you will be able to meditate a lot better. Where a lot of people say they can't meditate, that they've tried and tried and tried to meditate, but they just don't, never do. And it makes them upset because they listen to how other people have experiences meditating and they go, well, why can't I do that? Sorry, y'all, I'm trying to adjust myself in my seat. It's because you've got to connect all these points within yourself to open the doorways, because that's part of the doorways within inside yourself so that you can connect with the universe. And it's very, very strong. Now, I'm going to show you how energy, when it's coming out of your third eye, and I'm not going to show this to you today. This is what I want each and every one of y'all to do. Next week when we get together, I want y'all to bring a bobby pin with you. Rodney, I'm sure you can find a girl that has a bobby pin that you can borrow. But I want you to bring a bobby pin with you. And I'm going to show you how you can practice and know if you're holding your energy high or not with this bobby pin. And it's quite interesting. So I look forward to seeing y'all next week so I can share that with you because it's really quite interesting. And you will use it a lot during this grounding and this technique that I just showed you about how to connect your senses and everything together. That's part of raising your vibration level. You know, if you're not using all of those senses and connecting properly, then your vibration is not raising properly like it should either. You know, so when you can actually practice that and get it going, it's not going to take you a long time, because a lot of us have been meditating and balancing for a long period of time. I have been missing some aspects of it, but once I included it in your third eye and in your mental and emotional state, it will snap in, and eventually just your thoughts going to snap all of those together where you can get into that grounding position. But you've got to realize that you've got to use all those senses to get there. And a lot of people have never been taught that. So I found that quite interesting in myself, because, you know, I have been teaching many classes for many years, over 20, close to 30 years now, and didn't know that. So I want you on your piece of paper, I want you to draw a circle, and I want you to put an X in the center, no, in the whole circumference of the circle, put a cross in the center of it where it's touching the edges of your circle. Like you're making a pie, like you're cutting a pie into 4 pieces. Okay, and each piece of that pie, it doesn't matter where you put it, but I want you to write your spiritual self on one part of this pie. Okay, your mental self on one part of the pie. Your emotional self on one part of the pie, because that's a totally different part of yourself that we're learning. You know, that's the language that comes through you, that we're learning that it's a language. Okay, and then the last one's going to be your physical self. Okay, and this week I want you to when you have time, is to look at that and see what part did you feed the most, What part did you look at the most in your life? Was it your physical? Did you work on your spiritual? Did you work on your mental? You know, because if you're not working on that whole circle, it's going to show you where you need to rebalance yourself, you know, so that you can balance in these senses and stuff better. It's like I told y'all, when I had my heart attack, you know, last year, I had become so spiritual that even though I fed myself, you know, I kept myself clean and I exercised, I still was lacking in the physical part. So when I had my heart attack, it showed me some parts in my physical that I had just totally forgot about. And like I told you, I had totally taken joy out of the physical part. Well, all of this connects with your senses too. And so it's actually gonna be, not be taxing for some of y'all to reflect on those parts, but you will see, how do you feed your spirit? Have we really ever talked about how you feed your spirit? Your spirit is fed with energy. Okay, and that's part of your emotional self. You know, I told you it's the light codes coming in, and it's the language that we're just now learning to understand. It's not the emotion behind it. That it's an energy pattern coming through you. So you need to feed your spirit some spiritual food, whether it be meditation, whether it be reading something spiritual, but you need to feed yourself gratitude, you know, saying gratitude, but you need to feed your spiritual self. And then on your mental self, to balance that, that's where the five senses are going to come in. So you can practice, you know, bringing all five of your senses together in your mental self and being aware that they're there. Okay, on your emotional side, am I going too fast for y'all? If I am, just raise your hand and I'll slow down a little bit. On your emotional side, the biggest thing in awareness that you have to, that we need to do is to make sure which roof we are feeding. Are we feeding the negative roof, or are we feeding the positive roof? And then that just leaves the physical, your physical body. Are you really taking care of your physical body, or are you really like skimming by because you don't have enough time? Because, you know, we all have priorities that we think are more important than our physical self. And like for me right now, I'm taking care of my daughter and my grandbaby, and it's been really pretty challenging. So I only got 4 hours of sleep last night. That's not a lot. Your body needs sleep. 9 hours is actually the most you're supposed to sleep, so that your body can rest and take on your challenges that are presented to you every day. So that is a great awareness. You know, each one of us is different. Some of us might only need 6 hours of sleep. For me, I need 9 hours of sleep, and then I'm good to go. But these are things that you need to learn about yourself that will help you on your physical plane. You know, what are you putting in your body? Are you truly drinking enough water? Because look, water is life. And if you go back to the lesson of the tree, you know, the dream that Mama told me about us all being in the water, we have to learn to get out of the water and stand like a tree and let the water run around us. Well, if you're not putting water in your body, too, then your body is off balance, because the way the energy runs through your body, it has to have a conduit to run through it, and that electricity runs through water, and goes through it properly. So it's okay to drink coffee, it's okay to drink Coca-Cola, it's okay to drink other things, but make sure that you're getting the proper amount of water so that your conduit, when those emotions come in, can travel to your five senses properly without being polluted. And I think that's the best way to say it, because they can be blocked up because they can't get there because you're not really looking at your physical self properly. You know, and the type of food you eat. We have a job to do here, and part of that job is, you know, to teach this to the children that are coming up, so that they don't have to wait to the age we are right now to learn this stuff. They can learn it at a young age, and if that can be accomplished, the whole world will change overnight. And that's why we're here. And like the song said, we are the ones that we have been waiting for. So we gotta take, you know, we gotta take the steps to get that word out and say, hey, here we are, this is something that will help you, so that you don't have to wait until you're 60, 70 years old to hear it and go, oh, you know, do it when you're 20, do it when you're 10, do it when you're 6. It's gonna make a big difference. Now, I started 2 days ago with my 6-year-old grandson, and they had these cute little YouTube things about the senses, you know, about the 5 senses, little songs and stuff that I started letting him watch. And he really enjoyed it so much that he's been watching it and learning the songs about it. So not only is it teaching him, but there's a song that they have for the little ones. So when they're 60-year-old like we are, and they learn that song at 6, they're gonna be still singing it when they're 60. But you know what that's gonna do for them? It's gonna connect all their senses together, and they'll already have it already connected because they learned it in a song, and they learned what it was. And all we have to do is show them how to use it in grounding and meditation, so that they can take off and get the proper guidance they need through Creator. And that's pretty powerful stuff. So we can implicate that to help the kids, you know, and to help anybody else that comes along. Everything that you learn, you should share with somebody, because that's how it's going to get across the world, you know. And it goes back to the perception too. How is people going to perceive this? Because each one of us has a different perception on things, and that was put on us, you know, to create judgment, which we talked about last week. So these are all things that we have to learn which one is acceptable for you within inside yourself to change. If you need to change that, like mine, like I told you, I need to stop saying you need to do this, you need to do that. No, we. Someone change that to we, if we all did this. But see, I wasn't aware that's how I was bringing that information to people until somebody told me that. And so, and it's okay to talk about it, because communication is the key to connecting to everything. If you can communicate without getting upset about it, you're going to change a lot of things. And when you have all 5 of your senses connected properly, guess what's going to happen? The more they stay connected, the more you're going to be able to communicate better, because you're going to be connected wholly, and it's going to show you is what Shaw said the other day, discernment. And discernment is very, very important. And is discernment and awareness the same thing? Some people think it is. But with discernment, it goes a little bit deeper because that discernment is actually God and your spirit guides showing you the proper pathway to go. Where awareness is just showing you the path. Okay, but you still have to walk down it. So there's a lot of stuff we had to clear off of us that was, like I said, projected into us as we were growing up and going to school and all this, that created all this judgment and stuff in us. So like I said, that's the weeding of your own garden, and only you can weed your garden out. But the more that you practice this, and this circle that you just drew about your spiritual self, your mental self, all of that, that's gonna show you where you're at. If you are spending more time putting spiritual stuff in your body, but you're not giving it to your mental self or your emotional self or your physical self, what is that showing you? You're only eating one part of the pie, and there's 3 other parts that need attention. So yes, I can. Give me just a second to finish what somebody sent me a little note. I don't know who it was. It didn't say his name, but they didn't say their name, but I will explain that. I forgot what I was saying, so sorry about that, y'all. Okay, Rodney, can you put that question back up there for me?
I was just asking Chahawan if you could explain the mental and the emotional part again about feeding. I was in the washroom. Sorry for interrupting.
Okay. Okay, so this circle, thank you, because you put me back where I needed to be, where I was talking. This circle that I had all of y'all draw on everything of your spiritual self, your emotional self, your mental self, and your physical self. When you start looking at that and really paying attention to how much you're putting into each part of that pie every day, it's going to show you if you're doing the whole circle or if you're just doing half of it. And if you're only doing half of it, guess what? You're not being balanced properly because you're leaving half of it out. And we're learning how to connect the whole and become one whole unit of understanding within ourselves. Does that help, Rodney? Okay. And so this really, if you practice this week, we'll come back next week, and you will actually see, because we get so busy in our life and everything, and we get pulled this way and that way, and you will see that you will be lacking in one spot or another, that you didn't fulfill that, so that you could be a better balance. But like I was telling you, when you start learning how to bring your 5 senses into play in that balance, that's where the grounding comes in, the discernment comes in, and you'll be able to stay on your path better. And that circle will start being, you will start feeding that circle every day. And you won't forget to do that. And that's what the self-love program is about, is learning how to love yourself. And because that was taken away from us a long, long time ago. We were taught that was selfishness. If we ever thought about ourselves, if we did anything for ourselves. Well, that's not the truth. The truth is, if you do not give it to yourself first, you cannot give it to nobody else. You have to have a relationship with yourself first before you can have a relationship with God. And a lot of people don't realize that, because God is you. You are God. I am you, you are me. We're all mirror effects of the creation that he created. And until we can learn how to have a true relationship with ourselves and understand how we work, how are we gonna do that for other people? And let me tell you, I'm being tested really hard with my daughter, because me and her, we both trigger each other. And I'm gonna use you, give y'all an example of what I went through last night, about 1 o'clock in the morning before I went to bed. And I'm a very sensitive empath, so I feel a lot of things and I know a lot of things. And I can't help it, I was born that way. And since my heart attack, like I was telling you, I had left out the physical part of myself. I didn't think that you could be spiritual and be able to cuss or anything, because that would just be the wrong thing to do. If you cuss, you're not spiritual. Well, that's not true. I'm in a human body. Yeah, Elizabeth. So I got taught a big lesson about that, and I think I shared that in one of my classes. So I learned that it's okay to say a cuss word now and then, you know, you are human. So anyway, with my daughter, we were talking about, she's having to put one of her pets down today, and she's very sad about that. And so we were talking about that, and it triggered her on something else. And I just looked at her and I said to her, I said, look, I feel like I can't talk to you sometimes, because when I talk to you, it triggers you so bad that then you don't want to talk to me anymore. And I said, we got to work through this. And I told her, I said, I feel like, and I'm going to repeat this, I said, I feel like every time I try to talk to you about certain things, that I step in a big old pile of shit. And that's just exactly what I said to her. And she looked at me, and see, my daughter has gifts too. So, and one day y'all will get to meet my daughter. She'll come on the show and talk. And, she just looked straight at me and she says, Mama, that's how I feel when I'm trying to talk to you. And I was like, so we're mirroring each other, right? And she says, well, how do I fix it? I said, how can you, she asked me this question, she said, how can you feel like that when I'm feeling like that too? And I said, that's a good question. I'm gonna really have to think about that one. Because, I mean, how can two people feel the same thing and it be, you know, the emotions, but do you know what it was? I'll tell you exactly what it was. And I told her this when before I went to bed last night. I says, well, let's look at this, this just a little bit different. I said, you know, I'm a very sensitive empath. And I said, but I'm learning since my heart attack, you know, to bring in those emotional feelings and see what is truly mine and what is truly somebody else's. I said, what I just spit out of my mouth was your feelings, but they're coming so strongly into the room that I can't recognize them, that they're not mine. Because that can happen. And so what actually was happening was I was picking up on how my daughter was feeling. It wasn't me. But those emotions, like I told you, are coming in like a language. And I'm learning, just like y'all are, that it's a language that comes through your emotional self. And you have to, not you, there's that you. We have to learn it's a language coming through us. And instead of taking ownership, which creates judgment, expectations, that we realize it's an energy coming through us, a language, and what is it trying to show us? And so we actually fixed what was happening with me and my daughter last night, because I was taking on her emotions as my own. So we both were having the same feelings, but it was because they weren't really my feelings anyway. And then she says, and what's going to happen if I blow up on you? Are you going to walk away? And I was like, Well, I might walk away for a little bit. I said, it doesn't mean I'm gonna desert you and not never talk to you again. I said, because we're human. I said, it just means we need space. I said, but I did tell her this. I said, I will not be the one that shuts that door where we will never have, an opportunity to correct it. I said, so I'm gonna leave that door for you. If you wanna shut it, I said, after you get mad and get over being mad, then you need to come talk to me so we can open that door up again. But that's how I settled it with her, because I thought that was the best way to do it. Because sometimes you get in sticky situations like that. But there is a compromise. You do have to compromise with people, and you do have to, try to understand their side of the situation too, especially when you're living with somebody. Because not all the time do you have your own sacred space. But is that really a true statement that I just said? Okay, I'll tell you, no, that was not a true statement I just said, because guess what? Your sacred space is this. It lays within your heart. And even if you're in a group of people, you can get into your sacred space and be quiet. And so this is something that all of us need to reflect on and see if this is going to help you, in certain situations that you will find yourself in. Because we all find ourselves in situations like right now with my daughter, sometimes I just want to jump in my car and run away. Because it gets very hectic, she's on crutches with a broken leg, and got a 6-year-old running around going, Nana, play with me, play, I just want to play. And then I got my daughter going, can you give me a Coke? Can you help me to the bathroom? And then I'm sitting there going, I need to go take my medicine. I need to do this for myself to keep myself healthy. So I've been juggling all of this, and that's why we're having this lesson today. Like, I told you, Spirit is funny. I do not sit down and write this lesson out each week, because Spirit just shows me what we're going to talk about. And it's actually, everything has just rolled in. If you go back and watch all the lessons, it's just a continuing lesson of everything that we've talked about from the very start of the very first class we had, which I think is quite interesting. But I hope that y'all will really look at your pie this week and see how often you feed those sections of yourself. And I hope that you bring your bobby pin to class next week so I can show you this little thing, and you'll play with it. It's like a little toy. It's quite fun. And I hope you sit and still think about, am I judging? What type of expectations do I have on certain things? Because when you place ownership onto things, it can make it really tough. So for myself, I try not to have no ownership on anything, and that's pretty hard. It's pretty hard to do, but it does take it out the expectations, that could be created, and it removes a lot of the judgment, so that you don't have judgment. You just say, oh, this is just how it is right now, and I'm going to get through this. So that's how I'm going to end the class today, and we're going to start with questions, and I hope y'all like the class, and I hope it will help you. But next week, I want you to bring your circles back to class with you and the bobby pin, and we'll probably, Spirit will have us talking about other things too, but we will touch on how everybody got to see how much of their circle they're really putting energy into. So do anybody that has a question, just let me know and we'll start our questions. You got one over there.
This is Shalania, and I have, it's like a question comment. Something's been coming strong, really strongly through my, through me. And and it's about the heart. You've been, you're teaching us to come into the heart. And everything from every direction in this like kind of a giant circle of synchronicity, things have been coming to me about the heart. I've been hearing what you're saying about the heart, and I've been hearing, a couple of astrologers I listen to have been talking at this time how important it is to stay in the heart. And I'm beginning to feel like the heart is the GPS or something, like it's that place where if you can be in there, then you can operate in all of those other dimensions of, time and space and touch and taste and smell, and also mental, emotional, and spiritual. And I was getting this concept. I first heard of it a few years back, and it's called two pronunciations, Chanta Ishte or Shante Ishta, something like that. And so I was just trying to learn through my mind, through my emotions, through everything. What does this mean? And so I had this dream. I think it was on, what is this? This is like on the 9th. And I was in the dream and I wasn't remembering anything. But then when I was kind of coming into that waking space, I was, the elders were saying to me, tell us about your dream. And then I said, oh, I started to remember where I was. I was in the mountains, and I don't know how I got there, and I don't know where I was or anything, but I was talking to people about this Shante Ishta and truth. And then I was using my mind to try and learn what is all this about. And I was told that is, some people say that's Lakota and some people say it's Cherokee. And it, I just feeling that I need to understand that better. And I'm wondering if that is something that you've heard in Cherokee about, that concept in Cherokee, and how that fits in with the lesson today, because I feel it's really critical for me to have the understanding spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically in my body, like how, there's different ways, and I'm just so happy to be learning more about it. So I hope that makes sense to you. And you can.
It does. I have heard that phrase a lot, because I am Native. And it does have to do with getting into your, being grounded and centered into your heart. But what I'd like to do is I would like to go home and really actually ask one of my other elders about it too, to get a full understanding. Because I've never asked what the full understanding of that is. And I don't want to guide you wrong. But I do know that it does have to play in your heart center. I have always thought as my heart as, well, my third eye is my command post, and you have to be up in your command post to know what's going on and drive your boat, But your heart center, I call that like my motherboard, my computer center, where all the doorways and the keyboard like a computer is, and you have to defrag it, you have to clean it. That's why I said weed your garden out, because take your trash out, because we've been given a lot of trash, that was put there in our emotional self that we have to take out. But that's if you're not in your heart center, you're not able to take your trash out. So that's the best way for me to describe it. But I will go talk to an elder about it and have that answer for you next week, if that's okay, Shaw.
That would be okay, but I have something next week. I have this thing I have to do, and it's going to interfere with not with being here. Maybe I should have waited till next week to ask, but I just was really on my mind with all of this new moon
Well,
energy and stuff. So
yeah,
whenever
now Rodney has your email, does he not?
I'm
Because,
sure I get the notices, yeah.
yeah, so what I can do is I can, actually send you an email on it, since you're not gonna be in class next week. And then, I'm sure everybody in class is gonna wanna know a little bit about it too, and so I'll discuss it, but I might wait until you come the following week to discuss it,
Thank you.
okay? Okay, Colleen has, okay,
Do you bring all your senses into the night first and then bring all of that to
okay, could y'all hear what she was saying? Okay, Colleen was asking, do you bring all your senses into your third eye first and then into your heart? Like, your sight, smell, touch? Yes, the answer to that is yes. Yeah, once you're in your awareness, which is in your third eye, then you can bring it down into your heart center, into your sacred spot, and then go forward. And if we all start doing that, you're gonna be amazed, because you're gonna have better meditation. You're going to feel so much better grounded, and these tidal waves of energy that are hitting you and knocking you down won't be able to knock you down anymore, because you're gonna be more grounded and solid, or because you're standing on the root, the truth, the root of God, in your sacred spot of your heart, with all your doorways open, because those are your doorways. And that's kind of just like your chakras, that everybody talks about, your energy centers. That's how the energy travels to all these five senses that we're talking about, is through those chakras, through your body. So it is quite interesting how it all connects together. And once you can understand it for yourself, and it doesn't matter if another person understands it that way, but when you can understand it for yourself, you're gonna be able to, like, I was, and Shaw was saying too, we're gonna be able to have discernment and awareness a lot better. And guess what? You're not gonna have to ask anybody, because you're just gonna know. And that doubt that's within you is gonna go away, because we doubt ourselves too, because we've been taught to doubt ourselves, and not, trust our own inner true feelings. So, but when you truly become balanced within all those senses and everything, you're gonna know it's true, because you're gonna feel it. That's that language coming through you. So there's not gonna be any way that you can doubt it anymore. Even if somebody tells you, no, that's not what you're feeling, you're gonna know they're lying to you. And that's what you call discernment. And if you have discernment, sometimes it can be hard on you, because you can tell when a person's lying to you, and it can upset you and make you want to say, why are you lying to me? But if you respond in that aspect, then you just allowed them to take your energy, and so you've ungrounded yourself. The best way to do it is to have compassion on that person, but know your truth within inside yourself, and that's okay. Does that make sense?
I have
Robert,
a comment quick.
okay, Elizabeth, come on.
How's my mic? Is it too loud again?
Oh, it's fine.
It's fine, okay. I've been shown, Spirit has shown me for a long time that we are in that special sacred circle, the wheel. and everybody, we are all on the wheel in certain spots on the wheel, and we all have our own perception of the center of the wheel because of where we are on there. And also the way a wheel, if you think of an old wagon wheel, when the wheel is rolling, what's holding that wheel together is the hub and all the spokes. And if we're out of balance, what spoke is broken? And it can't roll anymore, right? It can't roll completely across the ground or over the situation that we're in, right?
Right.
So we have to look at that and say, what spoke is broken? What is cracked? What is, and it comes in levels as well on the circles. So like you have the emotional, the mental, the physical, spiritual, but there's levels of all of that, right? And it sort of goes like a spiral then. But also, like you were just saying, sometimes when that wheel is rolling, there's an obstacle in front of you that isn't from you. It's at you. It's coming at you. And your wheel hits that and you break.
Yeah.
Or you start to break, okay? So then we have to, what do? We back up and regroup all those senses and bring it back to our heart so that we're in balance again, whether we're facing that obstacle or not, right? Which is really hard to do when there's some big obstacles out there.
Yeah, especially when it has to do with your children.
Children, grandchildren,
Yeah.
your finances, your circle, everything in that circle is on the spokes on the wheel.
You're correct.
Yeah. And I'm such a visual learner that always helps me. Okay, where am I on my own wheel? What is at the center of the heart of the hub? What is the hub in your circle?
That's good.
Yeah.
That's really good because I, in a way, I do that too. Because, you know, I know from my own truth that you have to heal yourself first before you can heal anybody else. And because of the way my life was, which you know, Elizabeth, because you've been around me for a long period of time, you know, it was not an easy path. And the things that I had to experience as a child and then as a grown up, and then have children with it, and that pattern continue, you know, until I realized, hey, I'm the one that's supposed to be really truly breaking these patterns off of the generations, and so that my children don't have to do that. Then until then, my life was chaotic, just like a lot of people's lives are chaotic. I mean, I think we all experience that until we come to that discernment and awareness, you know, that it doesn't have to be that way. So I guess what I'm getting at is when I drew my circle of the pie, that's how I started, you know, that I have y'all today. That's how I started looking to see just for myself, how much time do I spend with those parts of myself? And when I learned to spend quality time and the same amount of time with each part of that pie of myself, the more awareness I get, the more balance I get. And then you can actually go out into your family and start healing those broken spokes that are broken there. But you also have to realize what is the hub. You know, for me, the hub on the wheel is spirit, great mystery. He's in the center of the hub, and then it spreads out, you know, but that's, that could also go into the sacred prophecy of the hoop being broken, you know, the sacred hoop being broken, and that we're fixing the sacred hoop. And that prophecy really is about fixing ourselves and going into our children and their children and breaking all these patterns and cycles that were inbred into us, you know, and conditioned into us, brainwashed into us, so that we can get back to spirit.
I agree.
But thank you, that was very good.
Hi.
Rodney? Oh, hi.
I wanted to say hi and introduce myself because
We would love
I
that.
think, yeah, it's just so you think, who's this person that just showed up here? This is the third class time you're meeting, is it? Is it okay, anyway, I'm Darmini, and I think I'm here because of Rodney. Is that true? You sent me this emails, Rodney? Are you behind it?
Behind
I
us.
felt like someone was trying to get through to me in sending me these emails, and I wanted to come the other two classes and said, no, it's too early because I'm in a different time zone. And anyway, I didn't, and I'm really glad I did. And thank you, Rodney. I really want to thank you, and it's good to see you again. And Elizabeth, I've seen you both. So I don't know what to say. I'm just in the middle of a very big move on lots of levels. Physically, I left my home. And so I'm going through a lot of stuff, and it's tough. Yeah.
Well, we will definitely keep you in prayer because when you're going through changes of moving and everything, you're also ungrounding yourself for that move.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't realize that. So when you get to your new place, that's when you really need to work on grounding yourself into your new place and seeing your roots there and stuff. And also calling back all your energy from this place that you're moving from to your new place, so you don't leave no energy behind, because what will happen is you will be very exhausted
Mm.
because you got your energy spread out in many different.
Yeah, that's definitely happening. And I also feel like, what have I done? I've made a big mistake. I'm not sure that where I've come is really, it's not feeding my spirit yet the way where I left is. And so I'm still really choosing my attachment to where I've been, and going, what have I done coming here? I was in it's more a mental decision than anything. And so now I'm in the repercussion of having made choices and living through my mind and ignoring other parts, although it was partially a spirit calling as well. But anyway, I'm out of balance. I don't want to take a lot of the time here, but there's work to be done. And thank you for having this class. And can I get the other two class recordings, Rodney or Shawin?
There's actually, this is our sixth
Oh,
class, I believe, Rodney, is that correct?
oh my.
It's either our sixth or seventh class. I have a YouTube channel, so you can go on YouTube and pull it up under Shahawin.
Okay.
Shahawin, New Self-Love.
Thanks.
Well, the
I
way
had no idea.
the way I've been coming to it is I just put in my name on YouTube and it brings it straight up. So, but yes, for you, since you're not in the States, you might need to put New Self-Love with it. But just start at the beginning if you'd like, and it talks about the two wolves. I start with the two wolf stories about how to balance your male and female energy parts of yourself. So it probably and hopefully will help you through this transition that you're going through, because right now all of us, it's not just one person, are actually stuck. Well, we're not stuck, but we're going through emotions in our mental self and our emotional self really strongly at this point in time. And it's actually really to clear all those layers, like Elizabeth was talking about. It's like layers of onions just being peeled off of us. When you finally can find your root of truth to stand upon, you can clear and weed out your garden and throw the trash out. That's, you know, and stand on that tree. And guess what? You're gonna be okay. And realize you're not alone. And when you do feel alone, come to these classes, because we will all love you unconditionally.
Hmm.
That's what we're here for.
Missing that a lot. Thank you. It really brought up the emotions. This is my first time speaking the aspect of pain and feeling heard and felt. So
It's gonna be okay, girl, and I'll keep you in prayer, and just know you're not alone. We're all going through these things, and I really truly believe that God, every single one of us that are gonna come together is gonna make a bigger root for us to stand on. And like I said in one of my other classes, each one of us has a light around us of God. And nobody can take that light away from you. That's your light. But guess what? If you take that light and bring it with the other lights and combine it, it makes this humongous light that we can all stand on that root of God and be so much stronger. You know, so
hallelujah. Thanks, Rodney.
so anybody else? We've got 15 more minutes, but if nobody has any questions, we can, you know, close early. Robbie and and Pam has a question too.
I'll share a little bit. Working on the wheel. Physically, I'm out there. I'm walking around a lot. I'm vegan. I don't eat anything that isn't, you know, super healthy. So physically, I feel pretty strong. Actually, never been stronger, and even in my 50s. And spiritual, I start every morning with gratitude prayers. I go and offer tobacco and pray to the ancestors. So, and read really powerful books. Actually, reading Shahowin's Daddy's book right now. Beautiful book. And mentally, I'm very focused. I'm doing a lot of work in the community, helping with the overdose prevention. And mentally, 11 months ago now, I had a plant medicine journey, and my highest version of self entered my life and has been guiding me. And I'm finding this is the most challenging one, because there's a lot of ancestral stuff that I'm having to deal with. But Shahowin has taught me that try not, you know, don't brush them away, but transmute them into love and compassion. And it really is helping. But yeah, I'm noticing, unless that circle is complete, like Elizabeth was saying, we have a couple spokes missing. It's like, you know, it's trying to drive a car on a flat tire. It just doesn't, we can go through the motions, but we don't, just spinning our wheels. So, and yeah, and, you know, someone in my life I've committed to making changes for, so it really is helping a lot. And a lot of those ancestral wounds and traumas are being healed. And I'm finding the emotional is the hardest part, or the, I don't know, the most ingrained deep part. The other stuff, physical, I can deal with that. But this stuff, when it's deep, it's like you got to dig it out, and like that hurts when you pull it out by the roots. But I feel I'm doing good, and with your guidance in these classes, it's really helping. So much love.
Thank you. Well, remember I told you, just watching Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer when I was a child, it made me know that I was a misfit. So for years I gathered all the misfits around me, you know, because we all needed to be loved. But, you know, we get conditioned and brainwashed and all of that at a very young age. And if we don't have the proper guidance to get us out of that, then this is where we end up, where we're at right now, learning all of this. And it's okay, because like they said, we are the ones that we've been waiting for all this time. Because we have learned it, and we're going to take what we have learned, and we're going to bring it back to the young kids, and they're going to know it in their 20s, where it took us in our 60s fifties to learn it, you know? So it's a good thing. Okay, Pam, you ready?
There I am. I'm sorry. There I am. I had trouble getting me unmuted. I have a long way to go. Long way to go. I've been working all those 4 things, but I mean, this is interesting because we're all talking about the heart here today and opening the heart. And when I came at the beginning of the meeting, I'm thinking, how can I get my heart to open up? I feel like it's closed. You know, I feel like sometimes when I talk to my grandchildren, I feel like I'm guarded, you know. I talk to a lot of people, I feel very guarded, and I don't know why I feel that way. I have an idea. I mean, obviously I've been hurt a lot, and you know, I've been rejected a lot, and I am an empathic, so I feel what people are thinking before they even say it, you know. So I'm oversensitized by that, I think, because I can't seem to separate their feelings from my own. I take on what they're feeling, and I feel it like it's a personal assault, you know. So I've been learning about chakras and opening up different chakras and working on them, you know, a little bit, but I just felt like recently, like, you know, my heart feels closed, like partially closed, you know, like I can't really love people the way I want to, you know, because I'm so guarded. That's all, you know, I mean, that's all I wanted to share. I mean, obviously I need a lot of
Okay.
working on this stuff.
Well, okay, well, let me help you with that, and maybe we all, this is very hard work that we're doing, and it's not gonna happen overnight, so don't try to fix it all overnight, because it cannot be all fixed overnight. We got to where we're at today. Look, I'm 63 years old, it took me 63 years to get here. You know, 63 years of being conditioned and being hurt and being lied to and all kinds of stuff. So, you know, one of the biggest things is stop beating yourself up. Okay, because that's our worst enemy, is our ego self is going to cause you to have guilt, shame, and that you're not worthy enough to even get through none of this, that it's too hard. That's all lies. That's because that's not true. You're already there. You just don't realize that you're there. Okay, and you're a lot, you are a very lot like me, because like I said, I'm a very sensitive empath, so I do pick up on everything. So when I was picking up on my daughter, that is what you call disassociation syndrome. Do you know what that is?
Yeah.
So you know,
Yeah.
okay, so in a lot of ways, to keep yourself from being hurt, you have disassociated your spiritual self from your physical body, and it steps out while you're taking care of all that other stuff. And the only way that you can actually, and what, the more you do it, what will happen is it will make you feel like you don't have a heart, that your heart has turned so cold, that you're so cold-hearted, and you go, what happened to my heart?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I understand exactly where you're at. Okay, so it's not that your heart is broken or anything like that. It's just that you disconnected your spirit to your heart. Okay, so what's going to connect it back with your soul is the lesson we just had today. You have to bring all those senses back together, bring it down into your heart, and it's going to reopen your heart, and it's not going to feel like that. It's gonna take you a little while, Pam, because you're gonna have to call all your energy back in prayer. You're gonna have to say every bit of my energy that I have given to anybody else, I call back to myself at this time because I need it for myself, for strength and for comfort. And, and the biggest thing is to, because I know you don't have a lot of time because you're doing your grandkids too. So when you do, when you can, the best way to get into your heart center is you probably actually, it would probably help you to have like, what I'm using for myself with my daughter right now, because I'm staying at my daughter, is I actually have a little cushy ball that I squeeze. I have a fragrance, you know, that I like to smell, some oil. I'm using that. I'm using my cinnamon candy, and then I'll just go, either I'll, you know, reflect on touching the rubbery ball that I'm using, because you can squeeze it and it actually blows up like a balloon kinda, and then it'll let go and make a sound. That will help you a little bit recenter when you're dealing with your grandkids and stuff, until you can get into a quiet place. And then when you get into the quiet place, that's when you really try to bring it into meditation. But your heart will open back up. And just remember, you're worthy of all things, and you have not turned cold-hearted at all. And what you did is you just separated yourself because, and that is a flight, you know, when you get scared because you see the hurt coming and you don't want to be hurt again. But guess what? We cannot stop hurt from coming. The only way you can stop the hurt from coming is in yourself. And this is what I've done for myself, because even words from my daughter would hurt me, but now I took the ownership out of it. That's how they feel. That's not how you feel. And if you can stand in that truth, you will never feel that hurt. The only time you'll feel that hurt is if you take the ownership of it and go, oh, they hurt me by saying that. And the minute you take that ownership, guess what? You're gonna feel that hurt. And it could be a tsunami wave. So you just give them compassion, understanding, and love, because they're human and they do have a right to feel like that. You know, but you have the choice if you're gonna allow yourself to be hurt by it. Because you do have that switch that's in your heart, in your, you know, in your command center. So that's part of discernment, okay? And the more you become aware of it, the easier it'll get for you. But trust me, I still fall into it. You don't get there overnight. It takes time. But the more you go through it, the less it will happen to you. And you'll be able to respond to it a lot better. I go back to like what I was saying to my daughter last night. I told her I wouldn't, because she's like, well, what's going to happen if we blow up at each other and we have a fight? And I told her, I said, we're not never going to have a fight, because what will happen is I will tell you that I'm going to leave the room, and if I'm still at your house because I'm taking care of you, I'm going to go to my room. And we'll come out and talk when we're not mad at each other. If you blow up at me and tell me, Mama, I want you to leave my house, I said, then I'm gonna pack my stuff up. I'm gonna go to my home. And I said, and when you get over being mad at me, then you come talk to me, because I still love you and I still want to have a relationship with you. But it's gonna be your decision, because I'm not going to remove myself because we're having issues. That's what I told her yesterday.
Okay, I mean, there was a time back, I mean, through my life, through my entire life, you know, where I have been really open, and I have really, given out, and I could feel the openness of my spirit. And, you know, I've sung, and I led a women's drum, and, I've done a lot of that. So I feel the love just come out, but it's been in recent years that I've closed myself up, and it's mostly because I'm some major rejection issues, and I have a real strong sense of wanting to belong, and you just sometimes you just don't belong because
Yeah,
there's things that they're doing that I cannot condone. You know what I mean? There's things that are being done that I cannot sit under. I can't sit with that. I mean, it's just too. It's unfair and it's cruel. So I just have to walk away. But I mean, and that's the scary part because I'm 67 years old. And I've been looking all my life to belong. And I don't belong. I don't belong in any. I mean, I belong in this circle, and in small circles where we can be honest and straight and truthful with one another. If we can't do that, I don't belong. That's the way I feel,
but that's the truth. And
Yeah.
so all of us are looking for that. And believe it or not, this circle right here is gonna grow into a big circle.
Mhm.
And a lot of people don't know this, but I have 33 acres of land that I'm going to be building a place where people like all of us can come to and have meetings, get-togethers, so that we can actually, commune with one another and feel that love and that connection, because we all need it.
Mhm.
But that's like gonna take a while to build, but it's coming.
Okay. So thank you. I mean, I have been, I mean, like I said, like with my addict son and some other issues, there's a lot of lying too in my life. My son lied to me a lot. He's doing much better now, but when he was on meth and stuff, he lied to
Mhm.
protect himself and to get what he needed or what he felt he needed at the time, And I have a grandson also who has picked up something like his mother did it. His mother lied about everything, about stupid stuff, And so my grandson has picked up that kind of thing too. And I'm working on him recently to tell him, listen, you don't need to lie about everything. You don't need to, be dishonest to satisfy people. You need to be honest, And so that's an issue that's been there too, because I don't know if it was a psychological problem his mother had. I mean, she came from an alcoholic family, so she was very damaged, woman. And so I think that was her way of protecting herself and protecting her family, because there was a lot of abuse and children and youth was involved, and there was a lot of scary things happening, kids being taken, being returned, So I'm sure that's where she learned to lie. She learned to lie because it was her only way of protecting what little bit of security she had, despite the fact that her parents were beating on her and beating on each other and beating on her brother and sister and putting people in the hospital. You see what I mean? I mean, that
Mhm.
is why. That's why she lied. I really believe that's why she lied. I mean, she died. I mean, she got breast cancer and died, and she was my son's wife. Okay. But I really loved that girl, but it was hard to be around her because of the lies, over stupid little things, So her children are in my house, and that's where that is too. I mean, all three of her children are in my house, and I'm trying to teach them not to lie. I mean, they learned it so easily from the time they were little that it was a natural thing to their mother. So it's a natural thing to them. So I'm working on that, so that guardedness comes up too again, because I don't believe them. So, well, thank you. I'm sorry. I just going on and on, but yes, I think that this is going to help me a lot doing that, working on that, the 5 senses. And
It will help you a lot. And also, one of my gifts is the gift of discernment. And I have many gifts, and I don't like to tell people what they are because it doesn't matter. I'm just here to help the best way I can. But for what's going on with your grandkids, that's a pattern like, that was instilled through their parents, and however old they are now, if it started when they were born, when they started talking, they started picking it up. But you realize that's an energy pattern that's coming through them. Now, if you were going to church and everything, in the religious sense, there's tools that you can use to bind up the spirit, which is called the lying spirit. Okay.
Yeah.
And you can bind that up in prayer, that it does not fall upon those children, and loose the angelic angel of truth and honor onto them. But remember, when you're removing the energy, you always have to replace it back with some type of energy, or it comes back 3 times harder on them. So that's, if you were in the biblical part, going to church and stuff. But
I don't go to church because of some of the major problems I've had in
Right.
churches. And it's the same kind of thing. The duality of whether you're what you say, you better do. And if you say you love, then act in that way, and it's not there. You know what I mean? I see that too much, and it's that's oversensitivity I have to it, makes it difficult. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. But what I was trying to tell you is that you can do that with prayer,
Okay.
and bind that spirit of energy that's coming in, the lying spirit of energy that's coming into them children and into your place. And instead tell it, ask your spirit guide, say, don't allow this energy to come into my house anymore. I ask that truth and whatever else you want to come in to be placed upon those children. And
Yeah.
you'll start seeing a big difference within those kids. You'll start breaking the pattern. But and the more you become back to yourself, grounded, you'll be able to get that discernment, because you have discernment and awareness, but you just let your spirit go over here and kind of stepped off to the side for a while and went on vacation. So your vacation is over. You need to come back to yourself and get back to work, because there's a lot of work to be done.
Yes. I agree.
But you're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay. I hope that helps, because prayer is very powerful. And there's many tools that you can use for prayer. So please try that and let me know how it works, because if you start doing that prayer, you'll see within a week to 2 weeks how powerful that can change.
I will.
Call in those angels of the good energy into your house, tell them to kick that other energy out. It's like, get out of here,
Okay, I will do that. Thank you.
Well, y'all, it is 5 minutes after our class is supposed to be over, but I love this class, so it doesn't matter. Anybody else have any other questions before we let Rodney do the closing prayer again? And then I'll see y'all next week if y'all don't have any more questions. And don't forget the bobby pin. Nobody has any questions, Robbie, I don't think.
Right, I'll pray. Father Sky, Mother Earth, all our ancestors, all our relatives, we thank you so very, very much for once again allowing us to step inside this most sacred circle. We thank you, Creator Most High, for using Shahawin as a conduit you so clearly do in the messages that you convey through her and the teachings that you allow us to hear. We ask Most High, Most Divine, that we apply these teachings to our heart and our daily walk. We thank you for the lessons on our physical self, our spiritual self, our mental self, and our emotional self. We ask that you help us to bring these into alignment. We have asked that you help us to love these aspects of ourself in a way that is pleasing in your sight, in a way that is nourishing for our daily walk and our walk with you. We thank you for the encouragement that we receive from each other. We thank you for the blessings that you've blessed us with throughout this week. And we ask that you now watch over us as we step away from this circle and commit to our lives. We ask that you help us to walk in a spiritual way, a way that is pleasing in your sight. Please guide us, please protect us, and watch over us in every way. We love you and we thank you. Aho.
Thank you. I love y'all. We'll see you next Tuesday, same time, same place.